Hey, Jocelyn with Wolters World, and today we're going to go through some tips for driving in Iceland. We're in the middle of a 2-week trip around the country. We're taking the one all the way around through the West Fjords and everything, so it's going to be quite a trip. And we've learned a few things, and we thought we would share them with you. So a couple of road rules that you need to know about that are specific to Iceland. One, you have to drive with your lights on all the time. So remember, if you have a car like this one whose lights don't click on automatically, you need to do it yourself. 2, no driving off-road. There are a lot of dirt roads, and that's okay. Dirt, gravel, that's okay, but there's no driving on grass nor on lava, so that's a big no-no. There's very little traffic in Iceland as car goes by. Oh, 2 cars. So another thing that you need to know, the Ring Road is a great highway. We were really surprised at how smooth it was and everything, but it's quite narrow. So bear that in mind, and there are some places where the wind is insane. So, you kind of slow down, and then people are passing all over, but honestly, people really, really are courteous drivers here. Hasn't been anything like that. There are a lot of one-lane bridges. We have wide open spaces, narrow roads, and one-lane bridges. So be prepared for those. There are a couple of them. Scared the crap out of me. They might have some pull-off places and stuff before or after. And a couple of the really long one-lane bridges have little divots on the side where you can pull off, but go slow. Most of them are made out of metal. They kind of feel rickety. They seem fine, but just take your time on those.
So when you are going...
No, my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
It's single-lane bridges a lot of times.
I'm gonna vomit. So here's one of the very narrow roads. It looks like we're gonna drive into a mountain. Had some funny signage just a bit ago about the road narrowing even more. I don't know, this isn't too bad. Looks like there's a bit of shoulder here. So cars here in Iceland are all gonna be a stick shift, and if you can't drive a stick, you either better learn how to drive one or be willing to pay for an automatic. Although those are few and far between, you really need to know how to be able to drive a stick. So you know that part where I said that the roads in Iceland were really good and there were some gravel ones? This is the main highway, and it just all of a sudden turned to gravel in the East Fjords. So now I'm doing like the equivalent of 30 miles an hour because this is insane. There are lots of hitchhikers and bikers on the roads, so be aware of them, be courteous, give them their space. So in towns there are lights, but a lot of what you see are roundabouts. So Americans, we don't have so many of those, so be prepared for that. And use your blinker when you get off the roundabout so people know when you're coming off so that they can get on. When you are in the cities and they have lights, it goes red, yellow, green. So as you're stopped at a red, it'll turn yellow and then will turn green. So you can prepare for that. It's just, they also go the other direction where it's green, yellow, red, but that whole backward thing, they also go green, yellow, red, but just so you can be aware that it will be red and then turn yellow before it turns green. So very often there are windy roads through the mountains and there are no guardrails. This was disconcerting for me, so I went really slowly and people passed me and it was fine. Nobody seemed to mind. Nobody was honking or giving me road rage. Everyone here really follows the rules of the road, and they're very courteous drivers. Gosh, the Icelandic people are so kind. And they're kind on the road. So if you're slowing down, they'll just go nicely around you. There's no honking, no road rage. Everybody's cool. So that was a really nice surprise. If you're taking a ferry from one place to the other, make sure that you print out your ferry tickets, both for you and your passengers and for the car. So if you're going to the Westman Islands or some other island, you need to book your ferry tickets in advance because they sell out, and they sell out pretty quickly. I mean, do it a few days in advance if you're able. All of your passengers have to get out of the car before you can drive on, and they have tickets, as do you, and the car. So you have to print out all of those tickets before you can get onto the ferry. Driving onto the ferry, everything's really narrow. I pulled in my side view mirrors, and you just go really slow because you're packed in there like sardines. But it's really easy, and you just hop on over to the other side, no big deal. Iceland, and we just wanted to point out a little something at gas stations. Often there are no people and no attendants at the gas station, so you have to put your card in. You have to enter the amount of money you want to spend on the gasoline to put in your car. And if you don't use all of that, it'll only charge you the amount that you do use, but you can't go over that. So your guesstimate has to be pretty spot on. Otherwise, you have to do it a few times, and that's always just a pain in the rear end. 2 other bits you need to know. It's also in English. It's not just in Icelandic, because that would be difficult for the rest of the world. And second, you have to put your card back in to get the receipt out. So it's just a little bit different. It actually is really efficient, as are most things in this country. So there are some driving tips for you while you're here in Iceland. This has been an awesome road trip. I can't wait for the rest of it, and I hope y'all get out here too.
So
I hate Mark.
she hates me. Anyway, if you want to learn more about visiting Iceland, 5 things you're going to love and hate about visiting Iceland, 10 things are going to shock you about Iceland, what to eat, how to keep your kids from going too crazy, all kinds of stuff. Check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Jocelyn's got all kinds of great stuff. I've got some stuff. Caleb's in there. He's got some great stuff too. And we really appreciate it. So say bye-bye from Iceland.
Bye-bye from Iceland.
So when you rent a car in Iceland, it's probably going to be a stick. And to get an automatic in this country, you're going to have to pay a little bit extra when you rent a vehicle.
Any words of advice for kids in cars here, Leanne or Caleb?